สวัสดีครับยินดีต้อนรับเข้าสู่อีก EP หนึ่งของรายการ Business Builders by RX by Tech นะครับต้องบอกเลยว่า EP นี้เนี่ยผู้ประกอบการที่อยู่ในวงการผลิตนะไม่ว่าจะเป็นการผลิตชิ้นส่วนยานยนต์ผลิตแม่พิมพ์หรือว่าผลิตอิเล็กทรอนิกส์นะครับจะต้องชอบ EP นี้นะครับเพราะว่าวันนี้ผมอยู่กับผู้ที่อยู่ในวงการมานานแล้วก็เป็นผู้ผลิตที่ทำให้บริษัทไทยบริษัทหนึ่งเนี่ยเป็นบริษัทที่เรียกได้ว่าWorld Class นะครับหลายๆท่านในวงการคงจะรู้จักชื่อของบริษัทนี้ดีวันนี้เราอยู่ที่บริษัท C.C.S Advanced Tech นะครับแล้วก็วันนี้ผมอยู่กับ CEO ของบริษัทคุณ Ketan Pole นะครับสวัสดีครับคุณ Ketan
สวัสดีครับสวัสดีครับ
Thank you for joining us in the program
It's a pleasure
คุณ Ketan อยู่ประเทศไทยนะครับมา30กว่าปี34ปีแล้วนะครับพอจะพูดภาษาไทยจริงๆพูดเก่งแต่ว่าวันนี้อยากจะเป็นภาษาอังกฤษผสมภาษาไทยนิดหน่อยช่วงที่เป็นภาษาอังกฤษแล้วเดี๋ยวเราจะขึ้น subtitle ให้ I would like to make the introduction first. CCS is a leading Thai manufacturing company with more than 400 CNC machines and 1,600 employees, supplying globally with nearly 90% of production exported to Fortune 500 customers. The company works across mold and die, automotive, aerospace, and semiconductor components with a strong focus on technology and quality. Working with the founder late Kun Buncharan Mano Burachailer and later leading the company to the global platform, Mr. Ketan Pole, CEO, has been the key person in the success story of a world-class Thai company. Mr. Ketan Pole has been working in Thailand for 34 years and has been working with the C.C.S family for 29 years. คุณ Ketan ครับ May I know more about you before we talk about the company? Because you came to Thailand from India, so I want to know your background. What did you study? How did you find out about Thailand? How did you come to Thailand?
Oh, this is a very interesting question. First of all, thank you for this opportunity and also appreciate the introduction you had made for me just now. And just to give the background, I'm a mechanical engineer. I did, I started my career with the CNC machining. When the CNC machine in 1980s, they were basically with the tape reader machines. And that time the personal computers were not so active also,
Wow.
So I started my career with CNC machining with space rockets motors manufacturing. So because of that, I had some aerospace background. Then I shifted to diesel engine manufacturing company, which was Cummins engine company. So we used to make a large 16-cylinder diesel engine, large ones for the marine engineering. And with that background, 1992, I came to Thailand because I had experience about CAD/CAM technology, computer-aided design and computer-aided manufacturing. So Thailand that time has an institute called Asian Institute of Technology in Rangsit, near Thammasat Rangsit. And they want to set up a Belgian project which was sponsored by the Belgian government. And they want to have the first 5-axis machine, one of the first machines in Thailand. Wow. In 1992-93. So then that is the time they asked me to select the machine, they asked me to select the CAD/CAM systems. So we started with the Maho machines. In those days, Deckel, Maho, Gildamis were separate companies. We started with the Maho company machine and used the CAD/CAM technology in AIT. That's my starting point in Thailand. Eventually, I liked the Thailand atmosphere, Thai people, the industrial atmosphere in Thailand. So I decided, but I was not part of the educational institution, so I shifted to the industry. So I joined a company in Ayutthaya, which was in those days, the semiconductor backend was very popular, like National Semiconductors, Alphatech Semiconductors, Philips Semiconductors, so Sanyo Semiconductors, Sony Semiconductors. So they wanted to start a machine shop to supply this IC chip industry. So I joined this company, and fortunately throughout my life, whatever I did, I tried to do first time in that country. So space rocket motors, I was involved in 1980s in India, so I did that. I came to Thailand, I started 5-axis machining. Then I came to this company in Ayutthaya. I was the first company to start IC chip lead frame stamping tools, which is a tool and die making. And also we started IC mold making. First time in Thailand. After that, hard disk came here, Seagate started in Thailand, so KR Precision was in Ayutthaya. So they were doing the first time carbide new generation tooling for the hard disk manufacturing. So we're the first one to start carbide tooling manufacturing. We also supported to KR Precision in those days and Magnacom, So from that journey, then after 1996 crisis, I had to join. I met Mr. Buncharan, who was the founder of this company, C.C.S. Group. So Mr. Buncharan was a very humble person, but a very creative businessman. So he studied only grade 4, but he was well learned people in the sense of understanding engineering drawing, understanding the technical thing. So he liked me, and in those days, you can imagine as a Chinese owner hiring an Indian guy, and we clicked very well. So he always treated me like a family. We always worked together. So he was working with Minibia, which is the only customer in Thailand by then. So in 1997, I joined him, and Minibia was the only company that we had that customer. And I had a Japanese colleague who also started working with some companies like Yamaha in Thailand. So slowly we tried to penetrate into automotive also. And main business was like what we call the job shop or a kind of a tool room, which is low volume, high mix. That means one drawing 5 parts, one drawing 2 parts, one drawing 1 part. So we added then mold and die design, we added stamping, we added injection molding. So still growing mostly with Minibia and Japanese group, But I had a lot of experience in other industries, so I started exploring US market. So somewhere around 1999, we were the first company to start working with Gillette in Boston, in USA. So Gillette makes shaving blade, but we make precision parts for their equipment. And their equipment is so sophisticated that they can make 60 blade cartridges per minute. And the tolerances what we have on the Gillette parts that we make is more difficult than aerospace and semiconductors.
Really?
So we started that way back in 1999. We also started with Ina Schaffler, which is also 6 companies in America. So that was more like a tool room type of job or low volume, high mix type of job. Then 2005, we happened to know GE Aerospace in Thailand. So they came to Thailand first time. It was the first kind of a international aerospace company. And I think besides that, it was only Minibia who had an aerospace division. And we are the first Thai company to get AS 9000 certification in 2005. So we are really one of the first leading company who started aerospace in Thailand. So 2005 to 2009, we worked with GE. Then 2009, we started anodizing in-house because we realized Thailand doesn't have the ecosystem for aerospace. Everybody was focusing on automotive. So in those days, So then we are the first one. Even BOI had no promotion for aerospace when we started. It was like beginning slowly, So then 2009, we got a big contract and we started work with Raytheon's group, which is, they acquired Collins, Pratt & Whitney, UTC group. We work with Megit. So we started with many aerospace companies and we become one of the leading supplier to the aerospace industry, where the end customer is Boeing and Airbus, right? What you can see on the screen, we almost supply components all over the aircraft. And we also make a lot of high precision parts for Airbus, Boeing, Bombardier, Embraer, Cessna. So we are kind of a tier 2 to the aircraft manufacturer, but we are a tier 1 to OEMs. Because people like Pratt & Whitney, people like Collins, they design their own systems, cargo systems and all that. So because they design themselves, they are also OEMs. And we supply to them straight away. Especially in 2020, until then we are growing continuously with various options. In the meantime, we had a sad news in 2016. We lost our founder, Mr. Buncharan. But the family and the sisters are still taking the lead. And we are still working together as a family. And we continue the growth journey, which is established by the founder, Mr. Buncharan. And then we also started realizing that aerospace was booming because everybody wanted to fly. With this Air Asia coming up, the cheap aircraft coming up. But unfortunately, 2019, we got a big contract for aerospace, which was like multi-million dollars contracts for next 20 years. So we're very happy, and we invested into CNC machines, we invested into infrastructure, we make new building, and we are so sorry to see that COVID coming up in 2020. So 19 we invested, and 2020 we almost collapsed and went bankrupt. Because
how did you cope with that?
So that was really difficult for us, because 2020, 21, we had all this sitting on the inventory because Boeing pushed out the deliveries, Airbus pushed out the deliveries, nobody was flying. And then it was very difficult for us to survive because no revenues, but we have the inventory costs and banks are chasing to pay the loans. So then, we also believe strongly that crisis brings opportunity. So we had 70 CNC machines and more than 500 people, they have no job. So we started looking for a job. We tried to find where we can work. So fortunately, we happened to get into medical and semiconductors.
Wow.
So initially we thought semiconductor is not something for us because they make chips. And we are not into chip making. We are into machining, Our main DNA is machining, CNC machining. So then we realized, that semiconductor do need a lot of machining components for the wafer fab equipment manufacturing. So basically chip makers, they need equipment. Equipment is provided by big players like ASML, Applied, Lam Research, these people. And we want to become their supply chain. So that's how around 2021-22, we started semiconductor. And then, we really recovered very fast. We started paying back our loans. We came out of the financial trouble. And then we keep on growing continuously.
Wow.
So today, like you mentioned, we have 400 CNC machines of all kinds of possibilities.
Yes.
Sometimes people say, if you go to see Thai Metallic show, better go to C.C.S. because we have every machine here.
Right.
So we also have a lot of CNC machines here. So that's really my journey to Thailand to answer your question.
You have like we can say risen like a phoenix during COVID. And you found medical, you found semiconductor.
Yes.
How did you have the courage or the bravery to step out of the comfort zone to a new zone of medical and semiconductor? How did you find the knowledge, the insight to do that?
I think the journey started when I joined 1997, because we wanted to, and one of the reasons Mr. Buncharan hired me, because he always, even though he was working only with Minivia, but he really was a person with a mindset of global mindset kind of it. So basically, he was thinking that how to make the company professional, how to make it company with world-class systems. So we don't believe in 2005, we also implemented SAP ERP system. And in those days, big companies were playing like multi-million dollars and they're failing with SAP.
Right.
But when I wanted to implement SAP, I just went to see my boss that time, Mr. Buncharan. And I said, I want to implement SAP. He said, no way. Why? This is software. I don't see it. There's no money, Machine I can see running it.
Right.
But, we discussed that if you want to grow, we have to have world-class systems. But he was a big supporter of world-class system. He said blindly, just go ahead and do it, what you want to do,
That's cool.
So in that sense, we started to establish a lot of systems. So surprisingly, we did something first time in Thailand. We never had a joint venture until recently. We never had a technical collaboration. And it was all our know-how. How we learn the know-how? We learn from the machine tools makers and we learn from the customers. So that really helped us to stand on our own feet all the time. And one of the things we established a culture in our company. We are a very agile company so that we are very flexible. We can do whatever we want to do. At the same time, we are a very resilient company. So if you remember 2011, there was a water flooding. So this company was surrounded by almost 5 feet of water everywhere. And everybody wanted to shut down the company because people were worried about the electric shock. So that time my founder and his daughters, they're staying on the campus here with 400 people staying here. I used to come from Sukhumvit initially by truck, BTS, then truck, then by the boat. And we still run the show. Wow. So this is really, people talk about resiliency. So we know crisis management to the most fundamental level, So we could survive at that stage. That means we can survive at anything. That's what we believed. So whenever one crisis comes, we jumped into another opportunity. We risen up there. That had a crisis, we jumped to another opportunity, we have risen there. So we kind of developed a culture, working culture with our team here. And majority are Thai. I mean, 80% we have Thai people, maybe 10-15% are like Burmese people, and few are foreigners, So that's the way we built up this DNA. But everybody works with systems. So we got 400 computers. So every person here works with a Teams call on Microsoft. Even they take a meeting in Thai, they take the meeting on the Teams call. So that way, COVID also taught us a lot of things to see how to work from your table or how to work from your home. So that's really, again, that's an opportunity. And one way we blame COVID to put us into the difficulty. On the other way, we also give credit to COVID. Because of that, we are born into semiconductor. Because of that, we are into world-class systems again, with so many computers, so many Teams calls and video calls. So that really put us into the global platform. And you'll be surprised. In the history of C.C.S., we never had a marketing department until today. We don't have a marketing department. So our marketing is our performance. We make on-time delivery, we make quality, we make speed, and we make scalability. So that's really our DNA, what we call our DNA. Our DNA is basically this, quality with speed. And of course, being a machining tool background, and machining is our main thing. So that also helped me. So every single machine out of 400 machines that we have, every single machine I'm involved in the decision-making process, and I approve the machine, even until today, So that's really a kind of a journey what we have seen, and that's how we have become a strong company with no joint venture, with no collaboration, and we are supplying to Fortune 500 customers globally,
Wow, what I'm hearing is a very strong management, and you were saying that during the flood, 400 employees were staying on the campus. And how do you motivate your team to go with you on the global journey?
I think one of the things what we do, people, job retention is a big problem everywhere. Not just here, it's also a problem in India because nobody wants to make their hands dirty. Everybody wants to have a mobile phone, white collar job, sit on the computer. So that's a new generation's requirement everywhere, So it's very difficult for us to motivate for the people to get and keep on working them on the shop floor, So we have different training programs which we developed ourselves because we could not find ready-made people. And even we talk about aerospace, fundamentally what we need is a technical people who can work with CNC machines, technical people who understand the drawings, because our product is drawing.
Right.
If you don't understand the product, how can you work with that? So that's why involving hands-on people is very critical for us. So one of my founder boss was Thai Chinese, and he had a lot of Chinese philosophical mind. So he used to say always that the cat, no matter what color is she can catch a mouse. Similarly, a pig, if you give them a time, it can add on the weight, You give time for the pig to get raised, So he used to believe that any person you hire, like any cat can catch a mouse, So any person you hire, you should be able to train him for precision manufacturing. So you'll be surprised, we have some people in this company, they were floor sweepers. She's still with us. And my boss said, can you work on the grinding machines to make 3-micron job, So she said, first of all, she doesn't know grinding. She doesn't know what is a 3-micron. But my boss said, don't worry, I'll give you opportunity. I'll give you time. Pig takes time to raise his weight, right? So don't worry, I'll give you time to learn. And she's still working today on the grinding machine and she can control plus minus 3 microns on the machine. So that's the way in our culture, we build up that culture. We learn from our founder and we establish that culture everywhere. So today you'll see we have 1,600 people. And everybody is surprised, including our customers. If you go to America, if you go to Singapore, if you go to Taiwan, if you go to any country, if you work aerospace experienced people, the average age of the employees in the company on the factory floor is 45 to 50. Because they spend at least 20 years on the factory, then they have the skill set, they got all the trivial knowledge there. So where to get those people in Thailand? We don't have any, We're starting aerospace for the first time. We are starting semiconductor wafer fab equipment manufacturing for the first time. So today, our average age of the employees in the factory is only 26 years. So they are all young people. And almost 40% are girls, Thai girls, So we teach them on the CNC lathe. We teach them on the machining center, So this way, in that sense, we protect our employees. They don't want to go anywhere because we give them the opportunity at a much lower level and we bring it to the higher level. So the knowledge retention, the talent retention is really also our DNA, Otherwise, we cannot survive in this industry.
We are amidst so many challenges, geopolitical, economic challenges. What do you think would be the good characteristics of the management of a company that is going through those challenges?
So, okay, as far as when you talk about geopolitical, Thailand is in a better position in the sense that we are not so much to the China side, we are not so much to the India side, we are not enemy of, let's say, USA itself, we are good with Japan. And so I think Thailand as a country, in my opinion, has got a fantastic future. It's just that all of us, we have to get aligned and to grab this opportunity. India is a big market by themselves, so they're definitely going to have a future for themselves. Similarly, China is a big market for themselves and they also globally export. While Thailand is well positioned to re-export from here to US for the high-tech industry. And that's what we are doing, So today we are almost 90% export, and most of my customers are Fortune 500 customers. And Thai people has a fantastic skill. If you know how to train that skill and the way they do it, I'll give one example. We are doing a special fireproof paint, which is manufactured by Lockheed Martin, and we put on this engine nacelle. If you see the engine cover here, the nacelle is made of aluminum, and it has got that coat, which is basically fireproof coat. So the hot oil drips there from the engine. It should not burn. The material should not burn.
Right.
So that paint is called MI15 top coat. It's a very special technology. So we learned this technology from America, and we started doing it here. And we do it here for 1 year. After that, we get a call from our customer from America. They're also doing it there. They said, what have you changed in your process? I said, no, we didn't change anything. We follow what you teach to us. Then who is doing the painting? I said, my Thai people are doing the painting. So can we come and see? I said, of course you can come and see. It's your job, no problem. So when they came here now, they were surprised. They said, they're doing painting in America. They teach us. But their paint start to peel off. And our paint never peeled off, So I said, they are surprised why our quality is better than America, So I said, the only thing we use are the Thai people, and they have a fantastic skill, the way we teach to us, they do it very systematically,
Use the same thing, same technology.
Also, and I think, once, and they also learn from Japanese, culture-wise, we also learn from Japanese, culture-wise, the Japanese and Thai, they are in the similar frequency. They don't like to talk so much, but they like to work. They want to show the result, but less talking. While, European culture or American culture, even Indian culture, we like to talk a lot, So, I mean, it may be good for the software industry, another type of industry, but sometime in manufacturing, what happens, you want few leaders and you want more followers.
Right.
But that works very well for the manufacturing discipline. So this type of culture which Thailand has earned from Japan, because of automotive industry. So I think in general, to answer your questions, geopolitically, I am not so much worried. Even when you look at the baht, the Thai baht against US dollars is pretty stable, 32.5, last 1 year, If I compare that with, let's say, Indian currency, in last 1 year, they have gone down by 14%, 1/4. While we are flat, almost like 0%, kind of a devaluation. So there may be many reasons, maybe tourism is a reason, or whatever is the reason, but I think it shows that economically it makes easy for the business when you're buying raw materials in dollars, we're selling in dollars, and you are pegged with the dollars in that sense, So I think that also gives us a good stability. So geopolitically, if you ask us, we are only getting a benefit. We are not really suffering anywhere, and we don't see any risk also in that sense.
What's your motto when you work? When you manage the company, what's the motto that you hold?
So, in our company now, we follow few things very rigorously, So we always tell our people, quality is the first. And quality has to go with the speed, I mean, you can make a fantastic quality, but it takes you 3 months to produce a good part. It doesn't make sense, the opportunity is gone, right? So quality, speed, and scalability, right? And all these are linked with agility and resiliency. So agility makes you flexible. So you want to do something quickly, we can do it on the same machine. And resiliency means, in a difficult situation, we can come out stronger because we can easily diversify. I use the same CNC machine for automotive. I use the same CNC machine for aerospace. And I use the same CNC machine for semiconductors or medical. All I have to do is that adopt that kind of a ecosystem in a faster way. That's where agility helps. So we're a very agile company in that sense.
You were saying that we have 400 CNC machine tools in the company. And you were saying to me before the show that you buy machines every month.
Yes.
How do you choose a machine? What do you look for in a good machine?
So I think, CNC machine, as you know, this is a technology, basically everybody knows about CNC machine. But when you are choosing a right machine for the right job is very important. So if you ask me in general, other than the price and the commercial aspect, I think the most important in this country is, of course, you have to have excellent service support. That has to be top priority. Today, technology more or less, whether it's Taiwan or is technology is coming quite closer. There's no significant difference that you can say that you have to have this made machine or something like that. However, having said that, there are 3-4 factors which are very critical. One is the service providing has to be good. Reliability of the machine is very important. Repeatability is very important. And most important thing is that, the process control. Because that's what it changes from the mold and die type of working or aerospace type of working, or we are talking about semiconductor type of working. So these factors make significant difference. And then the features, you want to have a through spindle coolant systems or not, which are more technical specific. What type of holders you want? You want a BT40 or you want a HSK 61, 63. So this kind of a things, also matters a lot, depending on what type of job you're doing. So you are doing a very cheap part where the roadside people are competing you. You cannot go and buy a Deckel Maho machine and try to compete them. There's no way you can survive, And Taiwan machine also not a bad machine. They're good machine. I got more than 100 Taiwan machines. So it all depends on, to what type of jobs we use. But those factors are very important. Reliability, consistency, very important. Service support is very important. And today, because we know the problem the manufacturing industry is facing, is that where to get skilled people? We cannot get. Then application support from the machine tool makers. They can give a tooled up machine, they can teach you how to make that part in that cycle time. So those type of things, those are the people who are going to be winners, long term if you ask me. So this is how, it matters when you're selecting a machine tool.
What about other various industries? Because you have been working with aerospace, automotive, mold and die, semiconductor. Are there any differences in the technology in the CNC machines that each industry needs?
So I think, there are a few factors which are very critical, So when you talk about mold and die, right? So basically you are making a plastic mold, which is required for three-dimensional machining, So 5-axis machines are important, but there, the surface finish requirement is more critical than what you talk about accuracy and reliability, in the repeatability in that sense, Because when using one same tool to finish the whole profile, then surface finish requirements are very critical on that. When you talk about automotive, surface finish requirement may not be that critical. Also, it's not a 3D surfacing all the time. It's mostly 2.5D machining. So there, it's important is that how fast you can do it, how quick you can do it, how you can split up the setup into across 2-3 machines, more than multitasking, because multitasking become too expensive for automotive. Because automotive is like, it's a very tough competition for machining. We normally don't want to involve with the machining of automotive because there's too much of competition. When it comes to aerospace now, the similar machine like automotive, automotive is a high volume, while aerospace is a low volume. So automotive sometimes they can make maybe 500 pieces per day. In aerospace and semiconductor, we have 500 pieces per year. So the volume changes the game, When the volume change and the ecosystem is different for aerospace. Aerospace is a low volume, high mix, but at the same time, process control is very important. You cannot afford to have a very frequent inspection. You have to have a sampling plan, but you cannot have a quality escape. Because in aerospace, quality escape means aircraft coming down, Because a lot of time there's no incoming inspection, And aircraft coming down means, it's a big disaster, right? Everybody will be like panic and there'll be a lot of consequential losses. Even the machine shop will collapse, So that's a different ball game when it comes to aerospace, which is not the case of mold and die. In mold and die, you make a mistake also, they can weld it and repair it. And they can still use it for plastic molding. Well, that's not the case for aerospace. Similarly, semiconductor is at a different level. So semiconductor is as critical as aerospace, but here is more at the nano level. So the cleanliness is important. How frequently you change the coolant, how good is your machine in terms of cleaning of the coolant and reusing it, Those becomes very critical factors. So everything has got a CNC machine. But within the CNC machine, some specifications will be different depending on you want to do semiconductor, you want to do aerospace, or you want to do mold and die.
Do you choose each CNC machine in the company yourself?
Yes. So I think what we do, I do select most of the machines when I take the final decision. Of course, I have the team of people that I have developed now to come to this level. So it's not like a one-man show. I got a team of people doing that. However, every machine tool approval, I still do it myself. So when I choose the machine nowadays, because we change the strategy when we are doing a low-end job or a low-cost manufacturing, that time everything we want cheap, including the machine. Now we come to the level that we really are more focusing on reliability, consistency, So then, we don't mind spending a bit extra money just to get a HSK holder instead of a BT40 holders, right? Even though we are machining aluminum, we still go with a good reliable machine, good stable machines. So that definitely is different, right? And, there are two more factors here. And modern machine tool making is also evolved in that sense. If you talk about Deckel Maho or if you talk about Mazak, so structurally they make machine very strong. Now, if you want to, on a big machine, you want to machine aluminum, you can still use a high-speed spindle. So you can still use a spindle like BT40 or HSK63, and you can still run those big machines for aluminum machining. While you want to do a turbine blade for aerospace, and then you need a more torque. And then they just change the spindle with a high torque. You can still use the same machine even for titanium or inconel machining. So machine tool industry also has evolved over the period of time, and what we see is that you still have the choices to select the right machine for the right job.
So during the challenges that we have been facing, what are the roles of the machine tool suppliers that can support you as the manufacturer?
So I think what I see based on my 40 years of experience, see people in the old days, people like to become a trading man. You become a representative for a big company, you buy and sell the machine, you just sell job and you are done. So that era is finished now. Now the people like machine to end users like us, we are the manufacturing companies. We expect a lot of things from the machine tool suppliers. We do expect from them a very good application support. We do expect from them a good preventive maintenance program. We do expect from them is that predictive maintenance, So using AI type of tools and things like that, so that they can come and then make sure that something before fail, they give us a warning so that we can change the thing at the right time. So I think those things are changing very fast. And then the machine tool makers who are supporting that service at a local level, that's something we appreciate, and that's the people we want to work with them.
So they should be reliable and they should be on the standby mode for you to call when you have issues.
Absolutely.
So you were talking about ERP and SAP earlier. So it's evident that you are keen on technology. What do you think about digitalization and AI nowadays? What roles are they playing in the manufacturing industry?
AI, artificial intelligence, as far as manufacturing is concerned and our type of manufacturing concerned and the machine tools are concerned, it's not a replacement technology. It's an evolving technology. You have to make use of AI in such a way that you become more productive. So let's talk about machine tool makers, what they should do about AI into their machines. So all these parameters what we discussed, like predictive maintenance. If the AI can find out from the parameters within the CNC machine that, okay, your spindle has already run more than 40,000 hours, it needs to change now, otherwise these parameters might have the problem. So there are a lot of sensing systems now available on the machine tools. If AI can capture all the data and that can come on the platform, we're already linking OEE, which overall equipment effectiveness, So people now can see the spindle running for how long out of the 8-hour shift, what's the effective utilization of the machine, what's the effective spindle speed, is the spindle getting overloaded, is the temperature getting very high. So all these sensors are linking to the AI technology to capture the data. There's a lot of data there. Then the question is that how to bring that data to a system so that engineers can make decisions. So in that sense, AI is going to help the engineers to become more productive. And then, you don't need a rocket science guy to understand why the spindle is getting hot. The sensor is sensing it, the AI is telling you, engineers just want to know what's happened to my machine because I just want to know how to drive the Ferrari. I'm not interested in how the Ferrari is designed, because that's not my job. I just want to drive it, So the operator is thinking, I want to run my CNC machine more reliably. I'm not interested in what's happening inside or what's happening to the AI technology. So AI and the application side can be a good support to the engineers. And that's what I'm seeing is happening with many machine tool makers. And I think that will definitely help this industry also.
Are there any capabilities in machine tools that you want, but it's not there yet?
So I think there are certain, although most of the machine tools companies are going in that direction, but what I see is that, very soon the humanoid technology is going to come. And with humanoids, what is going to happen? Now you got eyes, which is on the robo. They can see it and sense it, right? So then what is going to happen? And let's say AI technology, it's AI driven also, right? So there's a lot of database inside, Like today, even if you ask the AI Copilot or maybe, this ChatGPT or whatever AI tool you use, you ask a very complicated questions, you still can get an answer. For example, I'm having a problem about drilling titanium with 0.1 mm diameter tool. Can you suggest me who are the people who make cutting tools for that? Now, this type of information, if you ask me 10 years back or 20 years back, it was a rocket science. The people who had that knowledge, they don't even want to share with you because they consider it's their know-how. Today, AI will give you, okay, there are 4 Japanese suppliers and 2 Swiss companies. They're making this tool and they already have this case study and they're successfully making it. So that way, it's going to help everyone. But now, the machine tool people has to also realize what they can build in the AI technology which will help the end user. And one of the things I was mentioning about humanoid, because skill is a problem. The skilled people don't want to make hands dirty. They want to shift to the white collar job. So now the new job will be like for an engineer, instead of making hands dirty, working with a humanoid robots, he is going to see the setup and everything, because our type of job is not mass production. So the typical pick and place robot, which works very well for automotive, it doesn't help for aerospace. It doesn't help for semiconductors because the volumes are very low. Frequent changes of setups is there. But with humanoid coming up, with AI coming up, and now if the machine tools can integrate with that, this will solve the problem. Then sky is the limit, because then you can do any skill job. For every single piece you want to do different types of clamping, it can be done also. Right. So I think in that sense, machine tool industry has to move in that direction. How they can also make application of AI and make everybody's life easy by integrating the digital technology with humanoids, with computers, with OE softwares, with different dashboards. So that's really going to be very critical coming soon.
You have been with Thailand, you have been in Thailand for 34 years. You have seen ups and downs and changes all along the way. Are there any exciting elements or exciting industries or exciting technology that you look forward to in this country?
Yes, actually we are doing something now in the wafer fabrication equipment components manufacturing, which we are doing first time in Thailand, as usual. We are also doing in a very large scale now, right? And there are a few other players, but they are big multinational companies. And while we are still a small company, but we are still working with Fortune 500 customers, right? So that type of technology, what we are seeing now, it is not just machining. It's basically an ecosystem around the machining. So for example, what type of work we are doing now, we need to do the machining, high quality machining with very reliable machine tools, high quality inspection, inspection during machining on the machine, inspection post machining on the same machine, and also going to the clean room, cleaning the parts, and also doing the assembly in the clean room. This whole ecosystem, it is putting us into a different level altogether. So what we are seeing, which is coming our way, is a new level of technology. We at C.C.S, we call it a platform changing, by maintaining the same DNA, but we are changing the platform to go to the next level. So we don't want to compete in something with everybody can do. Something everybody can do, you literally cannot survive. I mean, you just have some Rongan Hongtao, making 2 machine, 3 machine, and you are competing with them. It's impossible. So since we have to go for the high level of profit margin, we have to go for a high level of ecosystem for machining. And that's what we are targeting now.
For those who may be working on a global level or want to enter this arena, do you have any suggestions for them working like a world-class company?
Yes, I think, with Thailand, we are also trying to develop a kind of a cluster because we're helping BOI, we're helping the local industry, because our goal is that, yes, we want to move ahead very aggressively in terms of technology, but we need the backup support system in Thailand. So to establish that kind of ecosystem, we want to have the cluster. So what we're trying to do, we're taking some small machine shops. We are giving them the know-how. We are asking them to become our subcontractors. So then they can keep on growing. And we don't want to do something simple work, less complicated work. We want to focus on the complicated work. So the simpler work can move to them. And in future, they will also keep on growing our journey. So they can come to the next complex level. So that's really our goal. So that, customer come to us also and together with us to the BOI office. The first question they ask that, what kind of a cluster service system you have? Do you have the supply chain which can support our requirement? If the answer is no, then they don't want to come here. And today we are the only one there. It's also not going to help us. So it's better we also develop a next level of clusters so that then we go as a big team that yes, we are ready. Whatever you want, we can do it in Thailand. That's really our target and goal.
Yeah. We have been talking about technologies a lot. What about the working process that can be altered without the investment in technology? Do you have to do adjustments to the working processes without the help of the technology?
Working process or what we call continuous improvement, or we call it a Kaizen, a Japanese style. So in fact, in our culture, every day we run a production, we have to do some improvements. That's a way of life. I mean, this is again a part of the DNA of the machine shop that you cannot keep on doing the same thing again and again with the same kind of a parameters what we use, So we have to have the improvement. Now, how to do the improvement? Improvement can only be done if you make use of a new technology. See, there's a limit how much you expect a labor to give the efficient output. But you make his job easier by using a technology, then it changes a lot. So we do that all the time. So when we do first time, our cycle time may be 1 hour, but after 1 year, we bring down the cycle time to half an hour, right? So all these things, it's a way of doing things, and it's a continuous improvement is a culture that we have here.
Is there anything that you would like to share more to the manufacturers?
Yeah, so saying as far as machine shops and manufacturer are concerned, that I would like to share what I've been experiencing since the last 40 years and mostly the recently. It is a challenging world because everybody wants to go for low volume, high mix. The era of the mass production is slowly disappearing in the industry, especially if you want to go with a high margin business. If you want to stick with a low margin business and trying to kill each other, then that's the life you're going to have it. So it's very important for the people to understand this low volume, high mix kind of a game. For that, what technology is required, everybody has to adopt for this. It's very, very important for us. For everybody. Number two is that if you see the way Thailand is placed today, it's more automotive focused. I mean, the government tried to support the industry to go to semiconductor, aerospace, and all that, but still there's a lot of gap there, And even though we don't expect government to sponsor everything like Singapore government does, or Malaysia government does, or even Japanese government does, and our government cannot do because of the economical situation. However, the end user like us or a machine shop, you have to find your own way, how you can come to this journey and keep your eyes wide open, see what's happening, and how you can make your company to world class. Every system you try to do, try to make it world class. Don't expect that you want to hire an expert from abroad only that will help you to solve the problem. That's not going to work. You take your simplest guy, the lowest paid guy, just give him the know-how, give him the technology, give him the training, and mostly the in-house training. And make them loyal people working for you. I think that's really very critical to build up this system. And then technology, of course, everybody wants to go for technology. Technology has to be there. And again, like I said, quality and speed and scalability. It's a DNA. As long as you do it with a good quality, faster speed, you're the best, Then nobody can beat you. That's really should be the target of any machine shop.
Thank you very much, Ketan.
Thank you so much.
วันนี้เราได้เรียนรู้เยอะมากเลยนะครับเกี่ยวกับเทคโนโลยีวิธีคิดวิสัยทัศน์ต่างๆของผู้บริหารที่นำบริษัทไทยไปสู่ระดับโลกนะครับด้วยการส่งออกมากกว่า 90% ของสิ่งที่บริษัทได้ผลิตนะครับก็หวังว่าผู้ประกอบการผู้ผลิตทุกท่านที่อยากจะนำบริษัทตัวเองก้าวไปสู่ระดับโลกนะครับหรืออยู่ในระดับโลกอยู่แล้วทำงานเอ็กซ์พอร์ตอยู่แล้วแต่ว่าอยากจะพัฒนามากยิ่งขึ้นนะครับก็จะได้รับประโยชน์จาก EP นี้นะครับแล้วก็ถ้าเกิดว่าท่านไหนที่อยากจะไปได้รับความรู้ดีๆอย่างนี้นะครับแล้วก็ได้เห็นเครื่อง CNC Machine จำนวนเยอะๆจากหลายๆแบรนด์ดังนะครับสามารถแวะไปที่งาน Intermo Thailand นะครับ2026นะครับซึ่งเป็นส่วนหนึ่งของมหกรรม Manufacturing Expo นะครับซึ่งเป็นมหกรรมเครื่องจักรและเทคโนโลยีเพื่อการผลิตและอุตสาหกรรมสนับสนุนที่ครบครันที่สุดในอาเซียนนะครับไปดูเครื่องจักรสำหรับการผลิตแม่พิมพ์นะครับไปดูเครื่อง Tools and Tooling เรามี Tools and Tooling Pavilion รวม Tools and Tooling จากแบรนด์ดังมากมายนะครับแล้วก็ไปฟังสัมมนาดีๆกันวันที่17ถึง20มิถุนายนนี้นะครับที่ไบเทคบางนาเราจัดกันเต็มพื้นที่เลยฮอ98ถึง104นะครับงานมีค่าเข้าชมงาน500 บาทแต่ว่าถ้าเกิดว่าท่านลงทะเบียนล่วงหน้านะครับภายในวันนี้ถึงวันที่16มิถุนายนเวลา 23:59 น.นะครับที่ www.manufacturing-expo.com ท่านจะไม่ต้องเสียค่าเข้าชมงาน500 บาทนะครับเพราะฉะนั้นรีบลงทะเบียนกันเลยณตอนนี้นะครับ and if you have time and if it's convenient for you I would like to invite you as a VIP to our show.
Sure, I'll be there. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
สวัสดีครับขอบคุณมากครับแล้วก็ใน EP หน้านะครับเราจะคุยกับใครเรื่องเกี่ยวกับอุตสาหกรรมใดติดตามต่อกันได้เลยนะครับวันนี้ขอบคุณทุกคนที่ติดตามชมนะครับสวัสดีครับนี่คือพอดแคสต์ Business Builder by RX by Tech แล้วพบกันใหม่ใน EP หน้าเราจะมาพูดคุยกันเรื่องอะไร โปรดติดตามได้ที่ช่อง YouTube และ Spotify Business Builder by RX by Tech นะครับ